So, I think we can start. And welcome everybody. My name is U Faraguna, and I'm one of the organizers of this satellite event. First of all, I would like to thank a few people. The very first person I'd like to thank is the president of the AIMS, the Associazione Italiana Medicina del Sonno, Liborio Parrino, who actually allowed us to organize this satellite event. Then, of course, we would like to thank the entire AIMS for allowing us to organize this very odd meeting as compared to more usual ones. And this is actually an experiment, so this is the first of what we are determined to turn into a tradition. You probably all know that Pisa is rather famous for, has been rather famous and is still rather famous for sleep research. And there is a traditional event called the Pisa Sleep Award. And we would like to organize a meeting similar to this one every time there is the ceremony for the Pisa Sleep Award. So this is the first of what we would like to turn into a traditional event. Then I would like to thank the president of the local organization of the conference, Dottoressa Enrica Bonanni and Professor Ubaldo Bruncelli. They've been very supportive. And also the other local coordinators, Angelo Gimignani, Michelangelo Maestri, and Laura Palagini. So without these people, this event would have been impossible to organize. Then we would like to thank also Scuola Sant'Anna, and in particular the Dean of Scuola Sant'Anna, Professor Domenico Perata, who has been also very supportive. As soon as we asked him whether we could use this very fancy room for this meeting, he was immediately very positive in the response, which is not something that happens very, very often when new things start in this country, at least. In terms of actual organization, I must say that the idea of this satellite symposium came more or less between the right hemisphere of Dr. Wiazowski, Vlad here next to me, and the left hemisphere of other people. So Vlad is a co-chair and a co-responsible for this event, and I'd like to thank him. We'll see how it ends, actually. And then, of course, Roberto Amici, who has been guiding us with his experience, and he's officially the coordinator of AIMS basic sleep research, and without his help, we probably would have sent the invitation the day after as compared to the date of the organization of the meeting. So thank you, Roberto, for guiding us in organizing this event. A big thank to all the speakers. Many of them come from far away. Time, we know, is very precious, so we thank them all for taking the time to come here to Pisa and to prepare this presentation for today. And I must admit that I'm surprised and positive surprised by the attendance, so thank also to the many participants who decided to spend this morning here at the Aula Magna of Scuola Superiore Sant'Anna. So, very, very briefly, I remind you about the format. The format is a rather odd format. The speakers have 11 minutes to tackle the most provocative aspects of the basic sleep research field. And we will be very, very strict with time. After 11 minutes, they stop, and they have a counter here that will start blinking, and it's going to happen soon for me, actually, but I started 1 minute before. So after each presentation, there will be a discussion within the panel, so we encourage the speakers to ask questions, very brief questions, and we don't think at this moment we will have a public discussion, but after the meeting there is plenty of time until 2:30 to have very informal meetings and questions to the speaker. And more or less, we will be flexible, of course, in that respect. The speaker will have 3 minutes to reply to the questions. But I encourage all the speakers to be very, very brief. You all have the program, and the next speaker is going to be Dr. Wiazowski. And I would like to thank, of course, the sponsors. There are many sponsors for the IMS organization, and we would like to thank them all. But specifically for this satellite event, I would like to thank Micromed and Tucker Davis Technologies, who made it possible. One answer to a question that I got very often in the last few days is, why 11 minutes? Why 11? So we had a few options. One was 100 years of sleep, that we thought was not perfect. Another option was 80 euros of sleep, that is easy to remember as well, but then we went for 11 minutes of sleep because the number 11 is an imperfect number. Nobody would remember 10 minutes of sleep, so it's the extra 1 minute that we think it's a new, somehow, format and a new dimension. And one more reason, rather intellectual reason, is inspired by this book that I would advise to read by Coelho, which is 11 minutes. It's not about sleep technically as we conceive it here, but it's about sleep. So without delaying any further, I invite Dr. Wiazowski to present in 11 minutes